We are still here in Pretoria inside the offices of the Department of Communications, where a handful of workers earlier outside were here to raise their grievances around the retrenchment process at the South African post offices. Workers had wanted the minister to intervene, and we are joined now by the Minister of Communications, Minister Solly Malatsi. Minister, thank you so much for your time and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity.
Now, Minister, members or the former post office workers have raised several issues around grievances around the retrenchment process. Before we get to what you've spoken with workers, can you just take us through what exactly is happening at the South African Post Office?
Well, I think it is common knowledge the South African Post Office is currently under business rescue. It is a process that was initiated by the former Minister Mondli Ngungubele, and it was simply to rescue the post office from going into total collapse. And that process has helped to salvage an institution that we think still has a future in South Africa, that many South Africans rely on for postal and courier services, and it is making some strides. And as a result of the business rescue, some tough decisions have had to be made in the process, because one, as an institution that wasn't generating the level of revenue that it needed in order to keep up with its costs and expenditures, it meant that unfortunately there had to be some retrenchments at one stage, and those retrenchments obviously affect a whole lot of people, a whole lot of families. Several branches have had to close as the business rescue moves towards making sure that the post office is efficient, and can be repositioned in such a way that it becomes self-sustainable. You'll recall that it has previously been a recipient of bailouts from the Treasury. And when you look at just the pressure on the South African fiscal state, there isn't enough resources to keep, pumping into these state-owned enterprises that are unable to be self-sufficient. So one of the difficult things that are happening as a result of that retrenchment is, people who are concerned about, their post-retrenchment lives and their packages and all of that. So today I just had to give an audience to those individuals, just firstly out of Ubuntu, because they came here to express them. But I know that already there's been ongoing engagements with the departments, and it is our hope that those discussions will empower the individuals with the information that they need, so that they know how to plan their lives better going forward.
All right. So as you mentioned, you did have that audience with those members outside. Can you give us sort of an indication then in terms of the issues that they raised with UIF? Workers were not able to receive their UIF monies and also their pension benefits. Was there any sort of talk around that?
Well, they highlighted those issues, but as I said to you, this was an impromptu meeting. It was unplanned, so all I could do was to give them an audience. I will, have to seek an audience with the business rescue team to get an accurate update in terms of how far that process is. What I've committed to them is that we'll share details with them so that they can plan their lives better and they can stand knowing what's going to happen with their futures. And I think that is something that can be easily done. I think it's not an unreasonable request that they are making in terms of, knowing when in the next future are they likely to get, their pensions, and how long can they wait. I think it's a matter of communication more than resources, and that should be easily dealt with. But I've said to them, the first engagements, it can be that when you want to have a genuine conversation with someone, you're also demonstrating outside their office when you haven't made an effort to speak to them. But it was a very brief and short engagement, and ultimately, we just want to make sure that even where they are standing with the right information, so that there's no misleading of the public or misleading of each other in terms of where we are with regards to retrenchments and payment of packages and other operational matters, which are, to be honest, outside of the minister's terrain.